Hello, everybody, and welcome to this week's podcast. I have with me some very special guests who are some of our workshop artists here at Arts Bonita. And I am so happy to have them here, and I want them to say hello. I would like you to introduce yourself. I would like you to just do a brief introduction of the type of art that you do, and then I'm just going to carry the conversation from there. Sound good?
Sounds good.
Okay.
Sounds good.
My name is Jon Artigo. I am the host of the Arts Bonita podcast. So I'm going to throw it over to you now. Kevin, why don't I throw it to you?
My name is Kevin Gilmore, and I would say I'm an interdisciplinary artist, meaning that I started out as a collage artist, a painter, and moved on to videography and including sound. I'm a sound artist, do installation, sound artist, sound installations.
Wow. Cool. All right. How about for you?
Hi, I'm Theresa Girard, and I don't know. I guess I've done everything since crayons, but currently, at this stage, I'm mostly working on large abstract pieces in acrylic, although I do love oil too. Whatever's new and different, I want to try it, and I love teaching here at the center. Classes are so fun. I learn a lot from my students, and happy to be here.
Awesome. Did you happen to bring any of your crayon art with you today?
Oh, absolutely.
I would love to see that. What were the early sparks of art interest with you?
Well, I just always loved to draw, even when I was a child. And if I had a doll, I would change the color of her face, maybe to blue. So I just always loved it. And then, we did at the time have some art education in school, in grammar school. And I think I first fell in love when I went to the World's Fair in the 60s. And I saw the Pietà for the first time. And you're on a rolling, floor, because they roll you right through. It's very dark, and then the Pietà is lit up. And I kept walking backwards so I wouldn't have to leave it, because to me it was incredible, and I was just in love after that.
Wow, that's cool. What about for you, Kevin? What were the early interests in art for you?
I think one of the first drawings I made, my older sister received a giant pack of pastels, and I fell in love with those pastels. And my father brought home, I don't know why he had this box of paper, but it was like pastel paper, and it was a huge box of paper. And in fact, this is the first time I've remembered that box of paper in a really long time. And I made this drawing, and I loved it, and I just got something out of it. And I remember stealing basically my sister's pastels.
Wow.
And I just kept going, and it became, I'm saying stealing, but it wasn't necessarily her jam. And I was off and running. I used those things all. I actually still have that same box.
Yeah, that's interesting. My sister was always such a good artist. I mean, she was so talented. Like, the stuff that she could draw, it always just looked, she just had a good eye for it. And I was not ever. So even when it comes to filmmaking, I'm not like a storyboard artist. Like, my storyboard art is stick figure art, and that's not a joke. And I've tried to mess with that, but I remember being in high school and having this art project that was due, and I was struggling with it. Like, I just working on it, just couldn't get it to look right at all. And my sister was like, just grabs a pencil, and she starts doing some stuff, and I'm like, that looks good. She keeps doing that. I'm like, okay, cool. You made it look so much better. It's not my work, but I'm going to learn from this, and I'm sure I'll get better. I never did, ever, but that's okay. So what about in terms of the transition? So, because I find it so interesting, as I started here at Arts Bonita, Theresa, and I was talking to you about, the whole workshop artists and what that means, and I started to equate it to when I would make a film like I did here in Bonita Springs in 2005, and I had actors that I cast from here locally who lived in Miami and just out in this part of Florida. But then I also hired 5 actors that we flew out from LA, and there was always this, they're just got to treat the whole situation different because they're coming from this, they have this experience, you know, all this kind of stuff. So when did you feel like you made the transition, or was there a clear time when you were like, ooh, I'm doing more higher level stuff now? Was there a point in your career where you felt like it really kind of went to the next level, or was it just kind of a smooth transition?
Well, I think one of the things that makes an artist a good artist is being curious. And I was always extremely curious. So there was always the next level for me that I wanted to improve. But there's no secret to it. It's, you know, how do you become a good tennis player? You have to play a lot of tennis. Well, it's the same thing with art, you know. And I chose, you know, more of an internship way to educate myself. And I always sought out people who I felt that were much better than me and that I could learn from. And I think that I just think it's a constant thing. You know, Pablo Casals, the great maestro, they said to him, you know, maestro, why do you still practice? And he said, I feel I'm improving. Mm-hmm. So it's not a point that you reach success. So, you know, I've had a lot of success, which I'm very grateful for. But it's you know, it's the next painting. It's about the next painting.
Yeah, that's very cool. I find that, again, looking back on films and stuff that I've done, just in working with people, even though I had experience editing and doing cinematography and doing all these different things, because when you're growing up, you're learning this stuff, you kind of have to do everything in the beginning. And then you start doing bigger productions, and you're like, oh, I need other people. And the goal was, I need to find someone who's better than me at this, better than me at that. And then that collective group of people like are capable of so many great things, which I think is very, very cool. What about for you, Kevin? Like, was there a certain time where something like it kind of transitioned for you from like, oh, I'm just kind of doing things to, oh, this is becoming more of a career path?
That's a tough one for me. The thought that swirls in my head is that, you know, I've been painting and doing collage, you know, since I was a kid. And then I did go into TV production and video production. And then I went and I've been traveling all around the United States, living in different places, doing all of these different things. And for a long time, it was compartmentalized, meaning if I'm the person making the commercial, I'm also a painter at home, and I have a home studio, and I'm making this painting. But there was a time, you know, maybe 10 years ago, when suddenly it doesn't really matter what I'm working with anymore. It's a mindset. And I think what you had said about I'm still learning, there's a kind of a Buddhist feeling to that saying, and you know, if you talk to somebody who practices Buddhism and practices meditation, and you ask them about what their meditation practice is, they're always in a state of meditation. It doesn't matter if you're standing in line in the grocery store waiting to check out, or if you're sitting, you know, cross-legged, you know, in the woods, you know, meditating. They're always in a constant state of meditation. And so for me, reaching the status of artist, it doesn't matter if I'm cooking in the kitchen and plating the food, a plate of macaroni and cheese for my kids. I'm still approaching it with artistic intention. And I think for me, once I acknowledged that, realizing that I try to approach everything in the same way, the medium doesn't matter anymore. So I could be making a painting, I could be making a film, I could be doing a podcast, whatever it is, I'm sort of doing it with the same approach. So.
Yeah. And it's a lifestyle. It is a lifestyle. It's not something you begin and then you end and retire. It's not ordinary in that way. It's a lifestyle. You know, if I look at around this room, I see shapes. It's just the way our brain is wired, I think.
I think, and you don't wake up one day and say, well, today I think I'll be an artist. And then you wake up the next day and you say, well, I guess today I'll be a parent, and then today I'll be a teacher. It's all
connected.
It's all connected. Yeah.
Can you guys talk a little bit about your process? Meaning, again, I'm thinking of, when people ask me sometimes like, did the film turn out the way that you envisioned? And it's almost always no. There's just little things, right? So I'm just wondering, for you both, what is it like, and is there a specific example you can point to of something you were working on that you had a specific vision for, but then in the end it didn't turn out the way that you had planned, but it evolved into something else or something different that maybe you liked more? I don't know if it's similar in that way, but I'm just wondering if you guys have something you can point to in regards to that.
Sure. All work is valid. So, the process for me, anyways, is the openness. It's 90% play and 10% thinking, which is, my current work. And I think that, having that kind of a process, there are no expectations. But I will say this. Maybe 6 times in my life, everything was just in the right place. I don't know if it was a gift from the universe or what it was, but maybe these 6 times it just hit and it came, and I was totally happy. I don't ever feel unhappy with a piece because I can always change it. If I'm open to it and I'm looking at it and I'm really open to seeing it, I can always move forward. But sure, I mean, there are disappointments. Like people say, you're an artist, that must be so much fun. And I'm like, well, yeah, but it's frustrating too, So I would say, that sure, but I always feel I have the confidence to bring it to another level.
I mean, for me, one of the things that, I really wanted to understand is a crossover between what is visual and what is audio. And, I made a decision back in college that I just made a terrible singer-songwriter. I still play guitar, but I just wasn't very good. And so I had that preconceived notion of what using music or notes or singing, I had a preconceived notion of what that was, and I was a better painter. It came a little bit easier for me to make visual art, and so I've always been trying to understand what the correlation is between the visual and the audio. And for me, for example, and I'm answering your question specifically with this, which is, I remember I made this video, kind of an experimental video. I mean, experimental is thrown around a lot these days, but meaning that it was a non-narrative film. And I took the video out and I left behind the audio. And then when I removed the visual and allowed the audio to exist as its own piece, that was the aha moment for me, where it definitely did not turn out the way I expected, meaning that the video was no longer and was simply a sound piece. And that's when I realized that I could make audio work with the same process that I make collages and take out the visual completely, instead of trying to find a way to always intertwine the two. Just take the audio, the visual out, and leave behind the audio.
Okay. Now I find it interesting. So you guys were talking earlier about banana pictures, which sounded odd to me. So I thought we should visit it during the podcast. So explain to me the banana pictures, and then explain to me a little bit about how you guys met and your relationship, because it feels like a special one. It feels like something that's been there for a while. So I'm really interested to hear about the banana pictures, but also about how you guys came to exist together.
Origin story.
Well, I'll give mine first.
Your version of it?
Yeah, my version of it. Okay. Kevin and I met. We did a show together in Newport, Rhode Island, and to me, I thought it was a huge compliment of our styles. And but for me, it's a little bit more personal. And we did the show together. We fell in love. The rest is history. I call him my art husband. Mm-hmm. My brother was in a terrible car accident when he was 19. He was in a coma, and he is now paralyzed with a head injury. And he just had his 69th birthday.
Yeah.
But My relationship with Kevin is special because I feel I regained the opportunity to enjoy the brother I never was able to enjoy. I admire his family life. He's a great dad. He's a great husband. But I completely trust his vision. And, when I'm stuck, I'll send him something. It's just a very unique relationship. But the bottom line is we have a lot of fun. We encourage each other, and, we understand each other. And we just actually did a book together, which was a great experience. I almost killed you. But other than that, it was a great experience, and I hope it just lasts forever.
We should get one question in on the book because it's called Five Crayons, and it would synthesize some of the stuff we talked about in the beginning. And there was a picture of us with a banana. But we did have a show together at this gallery in Newport, Jessica Hagen Fine Art, and we had never met before. So I do remember the specific moment. We had the show together, it was just two people, so our work was intertwined. And I just remember meeting Theresa for the first time, and I thought you were one of the coolest people I'd ever met. And since then, I don't have any brothers, but I do have 4 sisters, and the feeling is mutual. The feeling of having another sibling is there, and having a fifth sister is 100%. Yeah.
I also admire him as an artist. If we had never met, I still would have pursued his work because as an artist, he's extremely talented. But even more talented, I would say, as a visionary, and how his eye for things regarding the disregarding any medium, his eye for things is spot on. And I do admire you as an artist.
The feeling is always mutual, I think, with us, and I think Theresa is one of the hardest working artists I've ever met in my entire life. Every day, Theresa's painting, thinking, processing, reading, looking, every day. Yeah.
So how often are you guys taking these banana pictures?
We take a banana picture. We take a banana photo once a year it's like renewing our vows, I guess, right? And we each hold a banana like a telephone, and we kind of talk to each other, and we take a few photos.
It started, I will say, Theresa has put together programs, residency programs. One of them I was invited to early on when we met, and that was at Atlantic Center for the Arts
In New Smyrna Beach.
In New Smyrna Beach in Florida. And I think that was the first banana picture. Somebody said, "Let me take your photo," and I think we both just, pretended we were talking on the telephone.
You're right.
And so that was the first one, and then usually when we're doing a workshop together or doing a residency together, we take a photo.
And I'd just like to say that in my art bag, I have 2 bananas, so we can probably do that today.
Yeah, maybe we can post it later.
Yes, no, we'll post it right now. As a matter of fact, you're going to give me the photo, and then I'm going to put this in and post.
Fantastic.
Woohoo.
Yeah. Great. Well, I think that is very unique, and I think that is inspiring, because I think for some people, especially as an artist, it can be very, you can feel sometimes very lonely as an artist. And when you have that artist family around you, which can be multiple people, when that support is there, then I think that really amazing, cool things can happen. So I think you guys are very lucky to have that kind of a relationship. And I'm sure that's going to be very helpful just as you continue doing the great things you guys are doing.
Yeah, and I think there's more to come.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Well, what is kind of next for you guys? Do you have any things that you're thinking about doing a little bit differently, like coming up over the next year or two that you have planned?
Yeah. Well, I have a solo show coming up in June at Carver Hill Gallery in Maine, which is new for me, and I love Maine. It's a wonderful state. And then at the end of the summer, I have a solo show at Hammett's Hotel in Newport, Rhode Island. And it's It's boat week, so
Yeah,
I'll
gonna
be
be busy.
using a lot of blue. And so that's exciting for me. And, I go on teaching. I teach at the Providence Art Club in the summer. I've pulled back a little bit because I like that the work is taking up more time than the teaching, although I love to teach and I learn so much from my students.
For me, I currently teach at 4 different institutions, generally all of them at once.
Wow.
So, I'm raising 2 children, and life is extremely busy with my teaching. But you learn from your students, and at some point in the last when I finished graduate school and got my first job teaching at the college level, I really found, like you said a minute or two ago, about sort of the loneliness of being an artist. I mean, when you're in a studio by yourself, there's something really unique about being in a classroom where learning is taking place. There's a collaboration that is really satisfying to me, and I think when I began teaching at the college level, my studio practice is now my teaching. And if you make, like I said before, if everything you do is with artistic intention, then when you're in front of a classroom teaching, that is your art. Or at least I can say that is my art. That is my art. Call it performance art, whatever you want to call it. Mm-hmm. It's my teaching is my art right now. So I'm going to continue to teach. And when I'm doing performances with my electroacoustic sort of sound performances, and continuing to have my own artistic practice, but teaching is first and foremost right now.
So how do you guys handle? Because even if you are fortunate enough to be like, I'm doing my art and that is my full-time gig, right? That's how I support myself and help support my family. Or you're doing all of those things and you're holding down regular jobs and things like that. What is how do you replenish? How do you step back and make sure that you're okay in the process and that you're not always working and planning and all that kind of stuff with everything that, most people just have to do?
Well, for me, being in the studio, it's like being in my cathedral. And that's where I get relief. It's all of the other things that are attached to being an artist that get in the way. Marketing and social and all that other stuff, shipping, stretching. So when I'm in the studio, some people, do other things to calm down. As a matter of fact, if I'm not in the studio for a day or two, I get kind of antsy. The other thing, too, is that I like to walk and be in nature, and that relaxes me, brings me to reality. I get to admire, the world around us, and it gets me away from circumstances and, things that make life interesting sometimes. So I would say that being outdoors and being in my studio for me is my release.
I've started a tradition myself in the winter, my winter break between semesters. I do have a couple of weeks. Obviously, with the holidays and everything, it's a busy time, but I've been doing a 4-day sort of meditative retreat by myself in a cabin, no running water, no electricity, no one around, no talking for like 4 days. And that recharges my battery for a while. I get into a groove. It's only 4 days, but when you throw away I don't look at my phone, I don't open a computer. I'm just in this tiny little cabin, and I've done it for a couple of years now. So,
do you read or anything, or are you just okay?
Yeah, I read. I hike 3 times a day. Sometimes just spending the time doing your everyday thing. It sometimes takes a little bit longer. You got to go to the water pump, and there's literally like an old style pump, where you just pump your own water and you boil it, and you know, when I slow down that much, it recharges me and reminds me to take some of that away and utilize it throughout the semester.
Mm-hmm. And then there's naps.
Naps are good.
Huge. Love the naps. That's great.
Yeah.
Can I ask you guys, you touched a little bit on your students and things like that. Can you tell me a little bit more about what you get from your students and what it is that you maybe see or experience with them that just, I don't know, energizes you? Like what do you get out of that relationship, that student relationship?
Well, I think everybody comes to class at a different level of autonomy, and they're all seeking something different. So getting them, pulling that together creates a certain camaraderie, which I think is great to see. And I think what turns me on is the growth. I mean, a lot of my students have been with me for a while, and their improvements, I get delighted by that, by their improvements. And the other thing, too, is many of these people that have worked with me for a while, they're my heroes. I have 2 people in my class that are 85 and 86 and come to class. I mean, they're my heroes. I have another gal that comes to my class who you know, is struggling with breast cancer, but she comes to class. I mean, these steps of bravery, to me, are incredible, and they inspire me.
You stumped me on this one. I don't know why I can't find the words.
Yeah, I know it's, you know, with students and things like that, it's definitely I know for me that I can't, like, I feel like I'm here to do 2 things. To work with people, to find inspiration and comfort in art and creativity, like to inspire that in people. A lot of times it's young people, but it's not just for young people. I like that. Like I feel like that's part of, I need that. But I also need to be doing my own creativity as well. And it's like that blend of things is the key. That's what I need. And if I don't have that, then I start to feel out of balance. So people always go like, oh, well, do you like teaching or do you like making films? I'm like, well, I can't make films all the time, and nor do I just want to be doing that all the time.
Right.
Teaching is also refreshing and different and new. And even when you're working in administration, which is more what I'm doing now, even though I jump in and I teach a few things here and there, I love to see that light bulb go off is one of the biggest things, especially when you're introducing new things to students. And you see that light bulb go off, and then you feel like, ooh, gotcha. You know, it's like you hooked a creative fish, and you're like, that is something that I always look to when I'm looking at, you know, students and whatnot.
Yeah, I think when you teach, you know, I know I'm teaching the class, you know, here at Arts Bonita, but I do also teach at the university level, and a lot of those students are taking an art class just because they have to. It's a prereq, or it's part of their gen ed, and I really enjoy when I have a classroom of 20, and I've got maybe 2 art majors, maybe an art minor, an art history major, and then I have biologists, chemists, you name it, construction management, and I love the challenge of really showing them how the process of making something, using your mind in a creative way, is applicable to all of their careers. And I really, and obviously I'm biased because I'm in the arts, but I truly believe that when someone takes a drawing class and can't draw a stick figure, as you mentioned, you know, early on, right? I can't do a storyboard because I can't draw, you know, all I can draw is a stick figure. If someone really sinks in and gives into the process, I think it's it's life knowledge. It's not about the drawing. It's about the process. And so that to me is the gift.
Yeah.
And I think it goes along with what everyone is saying here, which is that aha moment when you see, and you see it. You can see it physically in their facial expression when they get it.
Sure.
And that's super exciting.
And I can say that after watching you yesterday, he does incredible one-on-ones, and I see the sincerity in you creating that light bulb moment, and it really is inspiring.
This is kind of random. Mm-hmm. This is a little random, but I used to be in wine sales, and I sold wine for 10 years, and I was into it. I was really into it. I lived in New York City, and the wine business was a fabulous place to be, because you have growers, you have farmers. When you would go to a wine tasting in New York City, you would shake hands with, a French winemaker, and she would have dirt still underneath her fingernails from being in the vineyard, and they're artists, 100%. And I loved selling wine to people that was inexpensive but fantastic, and it would pair with their food. And when they would come back, they would be so excited to tell me that the $9 bottle of whatever Gamay from wherever, Beaujolais or something, was a knockout win for them. It's kind of the same thing. It's I don't know. It's just the same demystification, and I think people have the capacity to make something brilliant, and they have the capacity to understand a wine in the same way. You just have to show them that what they made is actually really incredible. Yeah. And I think there's so many preconceptions. So the analogy I'm making is that I think there's a mystique around wine that is unapproachable to people at times, because there's a pretentiousness in the business that people can't get into. And I think that likewise in the arts, I think sometimes there's a illusionary gatekeeping that people don't think they can enter it. Mm-hmm. And when you show them that they can, just they don't have to draw the figure. They can do something else. And I think when you show them that and you demystify, that's when it becomes apparent to them that what I see, what they've just made, is actually really brilliant. And they just see it as a bunch of scribbles or something. But those scribbles are fantastic. So I hope that analogy makes sense. But
yeah,
it's
yeah, awesome. Well, I would say that it's been great getting to know you guys today and to be able to introduce you to our audience. For those of you who don't know these two fabulous individuals, Theresa Girard and Kevin Gilmore, we obviously are going to be releasing our workshop schedule soon for 25-26. They'll both be on there. I've already confirmed dates with them, so I think I've got them locked in.
We're coming back.
Yeah.
So I'm very excited about that. So thank you so much for spending the time today. Good luck with the rest of your workshop here at Arts Bonita. Good luck doing well in his class and following his instructions and furthering.
I do like being the student.
Yes.
It's a nice turnaround.
That's cool.
And thank you, Jon.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Jon.
Yeah, you got it.
Wait, can I just say one thing?
Yes, please do.
Don't forget to hit the like button.
Oh, yeah.
I've never been
That's
able to
true.
say that.
I don't even know if I've ever said that. Yeah. Hit that like, if there is one. I'm assuming there is.
It's got to be.
I mean, there's a YouTube and there's Spotify. I mean, everybody's got to have a like.
Yeah.
Thumbs up button, a like button. What? Sorry, my son Luque is the technical director. What'd you say?
Subscribe button.
Oh, subscribe. Yes. Jeez. Oh, yeah.
Subscribe.
Please do subscribe. But again, thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Have a good rest of your day. I look forward to having you guys on again, maybe next year.
Yeah.
And awesome. So thank you so much. So that's going to be it for today's podcast, everybody. I hope you had a good time. Remember to go to artsbonita.org to look at all the cool things that we have going on here. It's not just music and shows and theater and classes and art workshops and stone carving. Like, it's everything. So take a moment, go look at artsbonita.org. I guarantee you're going to find something for you. Okay, have a good rest of your day. That's it for today.